Welcome to the Underground.
Turn me up, bitch!
My Little Underground with Peter A.
All right, level 33, My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. Make sure you're subscribed. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and my website, peteraradio.com. We got small bite-sized portions of My Little Underground up on YouTube. Just search My Little Underground. Or just go to my website, peteraradio.com. And I'm on Twitter and Instagram. It's Peter_A. And follow My Little Underground, Twitter and Instagram at MLU Pod. And on Facebook as well. Just search My Little Underground and it's all there. Today, we're talking about some special things that have come out of the idiot box known as television. We're talking cartoons with Smiley and Richie Arriaga.
Nice.
These are my literal brothers, siblings. That's right. We're all here talking about all the crap that we watched on TV while all the other kids were playing Little Leagues and all that stuff. We were watching cartoons, right, gentlemen?
You know, it'd be funny actually if this was level 32 because that was Cartoon Network's old channel.
No, but 33 is Nickelodeon.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Still relevant.
Yeah, it is very, very relevant.
Oh yes,
Very relevant. Probably, I say some better cartoons would probably come out of Cartoon Network. That's just me though. I can probably think of more classic cartoons that have come out of Cartoon Network than Nickelodeon. Like Nickelodeon had SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, fucking. Oh my god, is there so many? I'm like blanking out.
Well, you said SpongeBob, right?
Yeah, SpongeBob.
Yeah.
So
The thing that I loved about cartoons was that there was always something on. You know, if let's say you're on channel 32 or whatever, Cartoon Network, and what you're watching, you know, I don't know, you don't want to watch it. So you scroll through the channels, you're gonna find something. At least I never had a point where there was nothing on TV. If there was nothing on Nickelodeon, there was something on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, you remember that weird era where like Ben 10 was the best show on Cartoon Network? Because because think about the other shows that were on during Ben 10. Well, I mean the first Ben 10, not fucking whatever's going on right now. The first Ben 10. The other shows, the only other things to watch on Cartoon Network during the time were My Gym Partner's a Monkey.
Oh yeah.
And fucking Camp Lazlo, which was I remember watching those. Like I kind of like My Gym Partner's a Monkey a little more, even though I was like not really. Oh, and there's also Foster's Home. Like I will say this about Foster's Home: the first episode, which was the movie, was good. Yeah. Everything else after that, it didn't need to be a series. The first movie was good.
It was a good premise for a show.
It was a great premise.
As a kid, I remember, you know, you go through that phase where you have your own imaginary friend. And there's a cartoon that's kind of based on that world, you know, that all these imaginary friends, like sometimes they all end up in the same home because either the kids forget about them or whatever. But that's a deep premise for a show.
It's a beautiful premise, but I just feel like they told all the story they needed to tell was in the first episode, like which was the movie. Oh, but there was that special where you remember where Will, the tall red one, where they went to go find his owner who was a basketball player?
Yeah.
That was like another episode that was really interesting.
But before we get into like all the cable cartoons and Nickelodeon, Disney Channel too. Let's not forget Disney Channel.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, the Nickelodeon, Disney cartoons. Back before we had cable, we're going way back. What are some of the first cartoons that you guys remember seeing?
Oh my god!
Because I've been thinking about this all week. Like I don't know. There's probably no exact first one, but there's.
I think I know my first one.
Okay.
Mouse and Mo. You remember that? Remember Mouse and Mo?
It was a TV show.
No, it was like this VHS movie. It was like this VHS movie. I would ask, I remember being a kid. I would ask mom and dad to just every time it was done. I was like, yeah, can you play it again, again, and again, and again, and again? It was either that or Digimon movie. The Digimon movie changed my life because, like, up until then, Mouse and Mo was the only cartoon I ever watched, and then I saw a Digimon movie, and everyone was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I didn't know the show had a movie because I remember the show like as a kid, the show was kind of cool, but like it didn't blow my mind like the movie did.
I remember us watching. There was Magic School Bus.
Oh yeah,
Magic School Bus.
Super educational.
Oh, that show is so underappreciated. Now that I think about it, it's like I remember like we used to watch that in school. People complain. I'm like, yo, guys, this is as good as it gets. And like, wait, this is letting us watch that in school. Like that show is so underappreciated. Like
I mean, like Blue's Clues. It was half animation.
Yeah.
I mean, Blue was animated.
But I
don't know if I consider that an animated show. I don't know.
Mostly animated.
It's mostly animated. Like
It was like one of those, like I guess you can consider it sort of like a talk show where you have someone who's like a human actor who's communicating with the audience, and then everything else around him is sort of animated.
Yeah.
For all our wrestling fans listening, Blue's Clues is what Bray Wyatt's new gimmick is based off of. Like the Firefly Funhouse is based off of Blu's Clues.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
an amalgamation.
That's true too.
Yeah.
It's sort of like I feel like shows like that where TV programs where someone is communicating with you and there's sort of a level of imagination that's behind it. You know, like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Like
it's classic.
Even though that was less animated, more
the
actors,
movies were weird.
Yeah. I mean, movies.
They were
movies in
entertaining, but they were
general-
just weird.
Movies in general, I feel like were some of my first experiences being exposed to animated things. Like, you know, we watched a lot of like the Disney movies. Like we go see Tarzan. That was like Disney was doing animation before like cable was like a big, huge market. You know? At least as far as I remember, some of my first exposing into the animated was going to watch a movie that was animated.
And we had the I think Rugrats.
Oh,
we had the tape of the first movie.
Holy,
That
We
orange
watched that
tape.
end over end. Yes, the orange tape. Yeah.
like I can't name a lot of like cartoon movies that are bad. A lot of them are actually amazing. The Rugrats movie, the first Rugrats movie was incredible. The first Fairly Odd Parents movie was really good. You remember that?
Nope.
You don't remember the first Fairly Odd Parents movie?
The movie.
Yeah, the first Fairly Odd Parents movie, not the cartoon one.
Are you talking about the hour-long special where Timmy goes and he gets turned into a video game?
No. The very first one where he loses them and like I think there was a future where like it was like a reality.
Didn't
like,
you go to the internet? Like he
No,
was
I
like
don't
traveling
know.
through the web.
That was a regular episode. I don't know if that
okay.
was.
No, exactly. No, I'm not talking about the video game one. I'm talking. There was a movie. There was a movie. It probably was an hour-long special, but it was a movie. They called it the Fairly Odd Parents movie.
I don't remember it.
I'll look it up
I have
right
to
now while
watch
we
it.
keep talking. Like, because like
I
I'm
remember-
not crazy. I remember the Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah,
movie.
we had the Rugrats.
It wasn't in theaters,
tape.
but it was on TV.
We had the Toy Story 2 VHS too.
We did.
Oh yeah,
we did.
we did.
Yeah, it got messed up.
Not the
later on.
first Toy Story one.
man.
Not
No, the
first
second one.
Oh,
on
okay.
tape. Yeah, I watched that a million and one times, and it just the tape broke because you watch it so many times because it was literally our worlds. We were playing with toys and we watched toys be toys.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah, like
Fascinating.
Really tore
Seeing
down
a-
the fourth wall.
seeing a movie like that, like at that age was so amazing because like it was like all my favorite. Like it was better than like any Transformers movie. Well, actually, you know, we I could mention the first Transformers movie, not like the Michael Bay shit. I mean the original Transformers movie that used the "You Got the Touch" song. Like it was very like old. So, like only people like really like are into Transformers probably remember that. Like,
Yeah, I remember just watching with Toy Story, the first one, where after they leave Pizza Express, I think Woody is in a backpack with the aliens and Buzz. With Buzz, yeah, Buzz, Woody, and the alien were in Sid's backpack.
oh yes, that's when
You guys don't get it, do you? Once we go in, you never come out.
yeah and the little aliens are like, you saved our lives, we are eternally grateful.
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah. Wait, who saved them from the crane? Was it Woody or Buzz? I think it was Woody because Woody hated them.
I think the alien got plucked from the crane.
Yeah. The image of that.
And then,
is so
and then Woody
funny.
grabbed on to the alien. I think Buzz grabbed on too.
Yeah, and like, but they were grateful because they somehow saved multiple of them. I remember because they always travel in threes. They're never alone. Those guys, those
then
little three-eyed
Woody
aliens.
just made it seem like Sid was just the deadliest. Like, oh no,
Yo, he
Sid.
was.
The
He
way-
was.
yeah.
Oh my god, that
He
guy.
thought Sid was a bastard because of how Woody reacted to Sid.
Do you okay? This is sort of a segue, but not really. Do you remember in Toy Story 3 in the beginning where you see like I think one of the little guys, I think so. They're trying to save someone from getting thrown into a garbage truck, and you see one of the garbage men had a skull on his chest, and a lot of people pretty much say it was Sid.
Well, I only saw Toy Story 3 one time, like few years.
It was either Toy Story 2 or 3 where you see Sid as a garbage man.
Okay.
Pretty much. You
Right.
see the skull. That was the dead giveaway. The skull on his vest.
Well, the one thing that I think is interesting about the Toy Story movies, particularly, that it goes from our childhood, and they just put out a new one recently. So anyone who has watched Toy Story
4 was crazy.
The experience and I guess the improvement on the animation as well, because you watch those movies when you're a kid and you're like, this is amazing. How could they make this any better? And they do. Like the animation has come a long way, and Toy Story 4 looks like super clean, you know, and it's very familiar, but at the same time, how do they improve that? How does it keep getting better?
We can give spoilers, right? Like for those who it doesn't matter.
By the time this is out, if you didn't see
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like
it's your problem.
Damn, like the one thing I really loved about Toy Story 4 is how like it wasn't as gut wrenching as number 3, but the thing is the ending was just as sad, but in a more beautiful way. Like, you know, because I remember seeing the trailer. Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer. I think, oh god, like what's gonna happen? Like, Woody's gonna probably get shot or something like that. And then you see like, oh, okay, so he left them, but like he's happy, he's not lost anymore. Like Buzz's last line, like he's not lost anymore.
Nope.
That was like just talking about that gives me goosebumps. That shit was crazy.
Well, the one thing I liked about 4 more so than 3 was because I feel like 3 was a big goodbye. Them separating from Andy.
Yeah, that was
Andy's
huge. That was huge.
Yeah, it was very sad. So I'm thinking, okay,
now he's college.
There's no more Toy Story then. They just told the story. And then when I found out they were gonna make the 4th one, I'm like, what is there?
We were all doubting it. A lot of people were doubting it.
I was, yeah,
me too. Like, admittedly.
Yeah, and then we saw it, and then the one thing I loved about it, it was like a unique adventure in the Toy Story world.
Yeah.
It wasn't focused on one specific thing. I think Toy Story 3 was more just like Andy growing up, which is great. But this one kind of reminded me of the first one because the first one was more the first two was very it was focused on the adventures of Andy's toys, of the toys. They were going through some sort of... They were traveling the real world, so to speak. They were outside of a bedroom.
They're trying to see if they can survive in the real world.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though the main focus was to, like... You know, a common theme in Toy Story, like, which I always love in, like, all 4 movies, they're always trying to recover someone they love who's lost, who they feel is lost in some way. How, like, the first one, Buzz and Woody were lost. In the second one... Jesse was lost. Like, in a way, Woody was lost, too, because he found this new group by accident. They were trying to find Woody. Willie's like, no, I don't need you guys. And then he realized, wait a minute.
You're a toy.
Yeah, I'm a toy. But that thing is, that's who I am. That's what my friends love me for. That's what Andy loves me for. You know, like, and, like, it's crazy how, like, because, like, in number 2, you saw Buzz as sort of, like, you know, the general. You know, he always kept everyone in check, and he was all, you know, because he was inspired by Woody to have that role. And in number 3, it went a little further, even though he kind of got brainwashed. But in number 4, it was interesting to see how, like, as Woody was... the more Woody felt lost, it was almost as, like, Buzz didn't know what to do with himself. Like, oh, crap, Woody's, like, kind of lost, and, like, what do I do? Like, you know, he was always... It was the first time you ever saw him second-guess himself so much.
What is it about these animated movies and TV shows that... they stay with us this long, you know? Like, the fact that we're still talking about these things today, and we can, like, learn so many life lessons from watching, like, these shows and these movies. Like, we were talking about this before. Are they really made for young people? Or are they really just made for, like, the universal person who's looking for something ridiculous, but also something that teaches you?
I feel like it's made for everybody. Like, you know, like, you know, it's for kids in the sense that kids can see. It's like, oh, this is so cool, and then they can grow up and be like, oh, I really get it now.
Yeah.
Holy, like, and adults can like be like, oh, wow, this reminds me of when I was a kid. Like, you know, it's for. I feel like it's for all ranges. That's why. The way it's written, they're just written as great experience, as great You know, people hate the term family movies, but these are really good family movies because, like, yeah, like you know, they you know, like some crazy like shit can happen.
Yeah.
But it's also very funny. It's just well written.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not in one type of lane. Anyone
can make a movie like Toy Story and make it a good movie. You see some of the things the toys are doing, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, they're flying, jumping all over the place, doing things you would not think a toy could do.
Wait a minute. Oh, sorry, I cut you off. Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous, but at the same time, it's classic. It's really funny. It's really cool. Like, it's an experience.
There is one thing I did not like about Toy Story 4.
What?
The absence of one very important character.
Oh yeah.
Zurg.
Yep.
Zurg.
Fucking Zurg. Like, do you not remember the crazy? Like, okay, like he did appear in the like I think a post credit scene in Toy Story 3. Like, he was in the. I guess that's where he is. But like in Toy Story 2, that was just so funny how like they built to this scary ass bad guy, right? And then when they finally fight him, you just see that he's just a toy like all of them. He's like shooting foam balls, and him and the duplicate Buzz were having this epic battle. Like you see Buzz getting his ass kicked. And then he finds out that Zurg's his father. Yeah. And like the hilarious Empire Strikes Back reference. And then, like, 2 seconds later, like they're outside the hotel, and you see a duplicate Buzz playing freaking catch with the Zurg, like that. Like
it's the fear. Like they built up a villain who's not really a villain.
And that's like in that movie, who you thought was the villain wasn't the villain. People thought like I when I was watching it, I was like, oh god, Zurg is probably like he's gonna pop up any minute. He's the villain, right? But it was the prospector. I did not expect that.
Yeah, it was a good.
A good swerve?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Swerve is a good word. Yeah, I guess. But I think a lot of these shows, the reason why they, at least for me, they stand the test of time, because again, they're meant for family. It's meant for, you can watch it with your mom, dad, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa. And yes, some of them are a little edgy, can be a little risque, but it's not meant for a specific demographic. It's not meant for adults.
No.
It's like South Park was meant for adults.
Sure. And as we can see, a lot of those episodes, people might disagree with me on this. I don't think a lot of those episodes age well. The first few seasons, like it really like the one thing I liked about the show is how like it kind of had like the crappy animation, but it added character to the show.
It was crude.
Yes, it was very crude. But then after a while, they started changing the animation to make it look more like graphic or realistic or something like that. Like
a lot of it was
weird. It didn't feel like a cartoon anymore.
It's the shock value.
Yeah.
It was like a shock jock radio show.
Yeah,
that's really what it was like. Howard Stern.
That kind of thing. It doesn't really last, does it? Because if you go back and watch the first couple of seasons, the jokes that they're making, the things they're making fun of, are they really relevant anymore?
No,
probably
I don't remember.
Not, it's just like at the time, if you're in tune, if you know what's going on in the news, and then South Park makes fun of something that you just read about on CNN, then you're like, ha ha ha, that's kind of funny-ish. But then afterwards, it's like, okay, do I really want to watch this again?
Do you remember the Britney Spears episodes? The Britney Spears episode? It was so freaking tasteless. Oh my god.
No.
It was so tasteless.
South Park.
That's why The Simpsons is amazing. It's because it's satire, but it's clever satire. Like South Park is cool, but it was too it relied too much on the filthy content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It relied a lot on explicit stuff, but The Simpsons is very clever, and you watch it back, you're like, wow. Like it talks about marriage, talks about society, it talks about like especially the Frank Grimes episodes of The Simpsons. Like Frank Grimes is a guy who worked his way.
Oh my god,
he worked so
unforgettable
hard.
Episode.
He had such
a
terrible childhood, and Homer Simpson, he just got lucky one day. You know what I mean? And he has his big house. He didn't go to college. He barely finished high school. He has a beautiful wife. He went to space. He won a Grammy. You know what I mean? It just shows you how sometimes people. It's not privilege, but it's like some people.
Some people just have. Like I hate to say it.
Some people can get by not doing anything, but not doing much.
Like Homer got very lucky. Like, but not in the sense of like dumb luck, but in the sense of like Homer, like
being Instagram famous now.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to college to be famous on Instagram or be a pro gamer or something like that.
But also in the sense of I think one thing I noticed like that was as funny as that episode was, like in a sense I kind of felt bad for Frank because like. He was envious of Homer not just because like he got lucky getting a job, but he got lucky he has like a family that loves him. Like he has like he has an amazing wife like Marge, three crazy kids. One of them who's incredibly smart. He raised 3 good kids. Like you know what I mean. He has like a beautiful house. People that love him. He has a lot of people that even though Homer's a moron, a lot of people love him. Like and like Frank Grimes is like kind of a loner, and so like. You know, like even as a kid watching that
he's
episode,
considered quote unquote crazy.
Yes,
he went literally mad and figuratively. Him saying it, like this guy's incompetent. He's like, oh, that's just Homer. Leave him alone. It's just Homer.
Yeah, this is who he is.
Yeah, and that drove him crazy because Frank Grimes is the competent one, and you guys are, you're letting this incompetent guy get away with so much shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But like even though Homer's a moron and some of his mistakes are catastrophic, you see it. Like he works in a power plant. A guy can if a guy like that worked in a power plant, now would be dead. But Homer, I guess, took a lot of things in stride. Like Frank Grimes, he was so beaten and like bruised, and he just lost it.
Yeah. So we're talking about The Simpsons. Simpsons on Fox. What about the Fox Kids lineup? Remember that?
Fox Kids lineup?
Yeah. Like after school. No.
Wait. Was that with Sonic X?
No. Well, later.
Oh God.
So what I remember, I used to come home from school, eat a bowl of cereal, and they would have Digimon would be on.
Oh, that was on Fox.
Fox Kids, yeah. It was, yeah. They had Digimon, Pokemon.
Oh, that's where it originated. I thought it was on
other
Cartoon
shows.
Network. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
I got some way off.
They had a lot of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
That was on Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings, yes. They'll have Power Rangers, they'll have Pokemon, and Digimon sometimes. Yeah, Digimon too.
Yeah, Digimon.
Yeah, Digimon, yeah.
Oh my, you see, all this time, I guess, I think it is Mandela affected myself, because I could have swore the first time I ever saw Pokemon was on Cartoon Network. I forgot it was on Fox Kids.
Well,
That's crazy.
I definitely remember Power Rangers, because there were some Sundays, some weekends where our mom would force us to get dressed really nice and go to church in Rosedale, and I just remember I don't want to go to church. I just want to watch Power Rangers because it was on Sunday mornings, and that was the only day of the week. There was no Netflix. There was no streaming service. You had to watch it that day.
It was back when we went to a church we didn't like.
Well, yeah, exactly.
There was a Dragon Ball Z on Telemundo. For some reason, I needed to watch that too.
Yeah.
It was already on Toonami already, but I needed to watch Dragon Ball Z again.
That's an interesting marketing choice.
On Telemundo, yeah.
I think I'm crazy. I could have swore watching it as a kid, watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z. I think it was on Telemundo. It was the Spanish version. I could have swore that I saw Yamcha turn Super Saiyan.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
You made that up in your head.
Or maybe I was watching the Trunks Future movie without realizing it.
That happened in Budokai. Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
Oh, yeah, the what if.
Scenarios.
Yeah, okay.
And then Yamcha turned Super Saiyan.
Because as a kid, I thought, so I always knew that Dragon Ball Z originally came from Japan. But then, as a kid, I remember as a kid, one day I turned on Dragon Ball Z on Telemundo. I'm like, wait, so is it different in Spanish too? Is it different storylines? I'm probably thinking of the Budokai.
I remember, I remember loving Pokemon a lot. The soundtrack I liked. We saw the movie in theaters. Pokemon was great. The games were amazing.
The soundtrack is actually incredible.
What did you guys think of Digimon? Because I really loved Digimon.
I love the
first
movie.
2 seasons in the movie.
Recently, a few years ago, my buddy Reggie and I, we were in this little coffee shop, and we were watching the first 2 seasons of Digimon because they were so. It was comically horrible. It was hilarious how bad it was drawn.
With Digimon?
Yeah, no, it was so entertaining, but it was just oh my,
I thought it looked good.
We watched the first 2 seasons. We watched the first 2 seasons.
Those are the only seasons
we watched the first season.
That's before they brought out the bikes.
Oh my god. No, but
gimmicks, man.
But the movie was so good.
The movie was really
That
good.
was my favorite Digimon.
No, not the
ever.
bikes. That was Yu-Gi-Oh.
No. That's Yu-Gi-Oh 5D.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
Dude, Digimon had bikes later, and they only had cards. They had
cards? Oh
Digimon had
god!
cards later on.
Jesus
That just
Christ.
you can just
really
tell they were trying to sell merchandise. But
bad.
the first couple of seasons of Digimon, I thought were excellent, and that they were carrying on a sort of genre storytelling that was alive in the 80s. Because some of those
with kids traveling on their own,
exactly, Sandlot, those kind of movies
Goonies.
kids
their
were
parents.
That's the whole point.
Christ.
Do you see some of the things that happen in Digimon? They get into these big, huge, epic battles between creatures, and if they went home and told their parents would not believe them at all.
If there were more black kids in Digimon, they'd be like, yo, man, I gotta fight this monster, but I gotta be home at 9 o'clock, man.
Right,
I don't know why y'all be out this late.
Yeah, it's
I don't know why your mom let you out this late. That's crazy.
It gave you that feeling of like this fantasy world that no one else knows about except you and your close friends, you know, and like
That
you're
cup
going
is
on these
mad dirty.
adventures.
Just letting you know.
Oh,
It's
Jesus.
mad-
No.
yeah.
It's like I had tea in it before, and I'm
Oh.
too lazy to
We
get
got
it.
what? Wait, we got Fiji.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
Fiji.
Fiji.
Not that Fiji sponsoring us, but you know, we got Fiji over here.
yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
we're not paying Fiji nothing.
Stop saying it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I didn't, you said it first, but anyway, like
The Digimon movie though, like that
was
movie.
crazy.
I mean, I'm personally now today I love anime, but before I loved anime, I loved Digimon. I loved that movie because the animation was dope, the storytelling was awesome, and after that, like when I started to watch more anime, like when Naruto was syndicated on Cartoon Network, like that was like my favorite anime, and I kept like asking myself, why do I love this? Like, and then I'm starting to remember, okay, I was exposed to that through those original like Digimon episodes.
it taught me like a great rule in anime. If you love an anime, watch the movie when it comes out, because chances are the animation is going to be 10 times better.
Well, the Digimon movie, it was animated like a Studio Ghibli.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I gotta
Yeah.
look into that.
Yeah, like
Yeah, it looked like it was Spirited Away.
It looked like like I saw the trailer, like even though it's not an anime, I saw a recent trailer for the Steven Universe movie, and the animation is like it's not even the theater's movie, and the animation is unbelievable. Like and the SpongeBob, it was like the SpongeBob movie too. The animation, I've never seen SpongeBob look that good before. It was like it was kind of like in its truest form. If the TV was able to get the budget that the movie gets, I'm sure it will look like that all the time.
Yeah, and when we started to get cable, you know, we got glimpses of the incredible Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon lineups, like for example, I think it was Toonami.
Yeah.
Toonami, seeing Dragon Ball Z.
That was
for
my
the
first time I saw Dragon Ball Z.
Blew my mind. Like, what the hell is this? I need to watch this.
It was the most violent.
It was so
It
great.
was the most violent, like... That was one of the most violent shows I ever saw as a kid at the time, but, like, in terms of cartoons and animated shows, but, like, I felt like it wasn't gratuitous. Like, the violence was meant to sell the battles they had. Like, you know, like, because, you know, like, where they looked like, what they looked like at the beginning of a battle and what they look at the end were completely different. Like,
They were good at like
Yeah.
cliffhangers, making you
Oh,
wait to see
yeah.
what's gonna happen next.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's become sort of like a meme where like you don't know
It
what's
takes
gonna
5
happen.
episodes to transform.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
one episode is just Goku trying to power up a spirit bomb, and then
Yep.
it just cuts to like the what's gonna happen.
You had to
next.
sell, they
Yeah.
had to, like, build it up.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, you know, like it's kind of like you know, like watching a wrestling match. You have to watch it like build like a souffle, and then it has a climax.
And it's character driven too.
Yes.
A lot of the best, a lot of
Yes.
the best animated shows, movies, it's all character driven. Because yeah, it could look really pretty. You could watch a really well animated movie, but if there's no substance, like you're not gonna remember it at all.
Okay, like the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, that shit was incredible. Because I like that movie, and I realized why I liked it recently, because it was sort of a return to form for Dragon Ball Z, minus blood, but that doesn't that doesn't really matter. But like, what do you guys think of like you know, like I know Super is cool, and like what do you guys think of Super?
Great.
Like
It's awesome.
like the series and stuff.
Yeah. think
I
Super's
haven't
awesome.
watched a lot of the episodes, but I will say that when I saw the Super Broly movie,
That
like
shit's crazy.
it was awesome
It's
because
so good.
here's a character that's pretty much like a walking meat tank, and you give him a heart, you give him a backstory, and all of a sudden people are like, wow, Broly's pretty cool.
Like
you
that
know?
scene where he was talking about how like where he drank water, clean water for the first time. That shit was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like
You
that blew-
sympathize with him.
Yeah, I was like, damn. Like it was almost like it was almost like you felt bad for him. Like you don't want Goku and Vegeta to kill him. Like and that was like. Because, like, at first I was, like, watching the movie, like, oh, it's weird. Like, it seems like Goku and Vegeta are, like, the bad guys because they're beating the holy hell out of this guy. And I think that was part of the story. Like, they had to
Yeah.
try and stop them from killing Broly.
That's
And
what's
I
funny.
think, yeah, you know what's funny? I think it's Super is like Dragon Ball Z not taking itself so seriously.
Yeah.
Because they had Beerus
Yeah.
as he was the first serious character. He wanted to destroy the universe.
Yeah.
But then he just became just a glutton. He just wanted Bulma's food. And I thought he was a great character. I thought it was very fun. And Super got real dark with the Goku Black's angle.
Yeah, you see.
Oh my
to
God.
Me, to me, okay, like I love the Broly movie. Aside, that stands by itself. But the thing is, like after watching Super, the only arc I can imagine myself rewatching is the Goku Black arc, because that was amazing. Because like at the end, Trunks was the one that stepped up and beat him. Like you don't expect that. Like you didn't expect. Like it reminded me of the Cell Saga, which is my favorite Dragon Ball Z saga ever. I don't think. Oh no, it's just fake call. But anyway, yeah, fake call. But it reminded me of the Cell Saga, where like you think, oh yeah, Goku's gonna beat him. Like like he beat Frieza and like he beat Vegeta, and then he was like, you know what? Gohan's stronger than me, guys. He's a lot stronger than me, so he's gonna do it. And then everyone was like, what?
Honestly, like, I know that was epic and all, but in the span of like the time frame and everything that was going on, Goku and Vegeta made the stupidest decisions during the Cell Saga. Because
it got worse during the Boo Saga. It got way worse.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about the Cell Saga, Vegeta effed up because he could have beat Cell. He could have saved.
That was awesome.
He could have saved so many people, and then he decided to help the villain.
I want you guys to get stronger.
Because he's an idiot. I need to fight him out of pride, and then he got his ass handed to him on a plate.
Goku also
with a side of fries.
Goku also probably could have ended it, but he was like, you know what? This is a perfect time to put my son over, and that's what he did.
But like the thing that was amazing is when like at first you were mad at Goku for like at first I was mad at Goku.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how you gonna do that to your son? But then Gohan, it almost became like rewatching it. I started to think, wait, maybe Gohan is the one that needs to grow up because like okay, all of his friends are getting their ass torn by the Cell Juniors, and he's like he understandably, yes, he's 11, he's scared. But then when like Hercule threw 16's head at him, and 16 was like, you remember that? And he was like, and 16 was like, Gohan, like you're just thinking about this, just chilling, like let go, just do it, it's okay. Like it was amazing seeing that arc, because at first 16 was just this killing machine, but then when he got a taste of Earth, he looked at the animals like and everything. He's like, I can't kill this planet, like, and then like he helped Gohan. Like he never talked to him before that, and like he was talking to Gohan as if he was his best friend.
And the one thing I did like about Super was 17. How he's not evil anymore, but he's still dangerous.
Yes, he's very dangerous. Like, and plus he like him and his sister, like they have stuff that they need to. They have a 17 has like his own farm, like he has his own island, he has a family. You have 18 who love a Krillin, they have a family. Like the thing I loved, I think the reason why I like the original Dragon Ball Z more. Like, at least everything I told the Cell Saga is because, like, everybody kind of had an arc. Everyone was in one place, and then they were in another. My opinion, like, like, in the Tournament of Power with Goku, I felt like he didn't really, like, grow that much. Like, yeah, he got stronger, but he didn't, like, grow, like, as a character. You know what I mean?
Goku's always been, like, kind of like a kid at heart.
He's a glutton. He just has to fight people.
Yeah, but, like, that's true. Yeah, like, but like, do you remember the Tournament of Power when, like, he literally bet the universe? He literally put the universe. He put the universe.
I loved it.
He put the universe at stake to fight people, and there were no consequences. Gohan was the only person that was like, he was the only one that was written to be like, yo, Dad, what the hell are you doing? And everyone, he lied to everybody, and all there was, well, I guess let's do it. Like, you guys aren't mad at him? Like,
they were mad at him. But I don't know. I feel like they have to. Okay, we can't be mad at him now.
Yeah,
we have to fix this.
Yeah,
let's just do it.
Exactly.
Let's win.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Yeah, it was funny looking back at it. It was like hilarious, but it was just like
it's hilarious.
Yeah, like my personal favorite, like Dragon Ball Z saga, will always be like the Cell Saga. Yep. This is how everybody grew. Piccolo grew. Even Vegeta grew. Like when he lost, like he hated Trunks when he first met him, and then he was jealous of him because Trunks was super strong. But then when Trunks got killed, he like, oh crap. That's my son. And, like, Vegeta changed forever after that.
Yeah.
Like...
It's interesting. Because Goku and Vegeta, like, they're Saiyans. They're not humans. They were affected. They were definitely changed by the fact that they live on Earth. They came to Earth.
Especially Goku. Being raised by Gohan.
Yeah, imagine
Oh,
imagine
Granny
what
and Grandpa
Goku would have
Gohan,
been if he never came to Earth. Like if he stayed on the same planet.
You would have been a problem.
A really powerful rat.
Oh no! Oh,
Yeah.
it's you know it's funny like how Bardock never even like shy away from the fact of how stronger Goku was even before like he turned good. Like if Goku was a villain, it would have been an issue.
Yep.
It would have been an issue. Like
Now, what about a lot of the cartoons that we really watched a whole
Ed, and
lot
Eddie.
on Cartoon Network? Yeah, that whole like cartoons lineup that I remember they would have. There'd be Courage. There'd be Ed, and Eddie. There would be Billy and Mandy, Evil Con Carne, and it
was a really great spin-off, and a really underrated spin-off in that universe.
Those shows were just like Ed and Eddie is like very underrated because
It is.
the characters on that show is unlike any other besides like The Simpsons. Like such unique characters.
Sure.
Unbelievable.
Like
their dialogue.
As silly as this sounds, like I always thought of Ed, and Eddie as like the ECW of those cartoons because it was the most violent, but also the most like some of the most character driven and some of the most like passionate characters you ever saw.
It was really stupid.
It was really stupid.
They just did a bunch of scams to get jawbreakers, to get quarters.
I mean, like, in a lot of ways, it fits
so good.
It fits the American train of thought. You know, like if you have this industry, everyone's just trying to make a profit. But like, here's a premise of the show where you have a bunch of kids who just want candy, and they're doing all these crazy things just to get candy. And sometimes they get it. Sometimes they get the candy. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes like you're very aware that these three kids, everyone hates them, and then there are moments of like when they're redeemable. But like for the most part,
they convinced all the kids that they were on another country.
Yeah.
They couldn't control any of
I
that.
mean, like you really gotta.
I guess they were good at what
You gotta
they
give
did.
it to them.
Why was Ed there?
And like, yeah, like you remember like that projection, like that kept moving. Like it was like they turned the treadmill sideways and drew pictures on it. It was like
I know.
it kept moving.
Honestly, like they had a lot of time on their hands.
Wait, no, like but
That's another show that you ask yourself, where are their parents? Like, what's going on?
the greatest, like the great. It was like a new age Charlie Brown almost, like a very like a very like a more raw version of Charlie Brown. Like it was like the best bad guys I've ever seen like in a TV show were the Kanker sisters.
Oh my god!
They was like oh my god!
When they showed up, like everyone went home.
Oh my god! And like, but the weird thing
They were
was
in love with the Eds.
Yeah,
Yep.
the weird thing was like when you think about it, they really were the only like real friends that the Eds had.
That's
like
very
you know,
true.
like you know, they were in love with them and they were terrifying, but they didn't care about them. There were episodes where like they came through for them when no one else did, or like you know they were there for them when no one else was. Like when everyone else, like you know, they like if Kevin wanted to beat him up, like they weren't gonna, he wasn't gonna go through the Kankers to beat up Eddie, you know, like it was even like the episodes where they went to middle school, like I like those, like it was a change of pace, it was different, it was like a different setting, which was, but I didn't feel like the episodes waned at all. If anything, it kind of like they kind of went deeper into who those people were.
One of my favorite episodes is when Double D is sleep deprived.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and everybody needs something from him.
Oh yeah.
So great.
It was, and they were just dragging him along. Double D didn't give a goddamn. Wait, you remember the episode where Ed was angry? You remember he had a pebble in his shoe?
Yeah.
But you found that out at the end of the episode. But the whole episode, he was just mad. He's just like the meanest son of a bitch you ever seen. And then automatically it turns out he had a pebble in the shoe. Which that's where I learned the saying. Oh, what's wrong with you? You know, you see someone that says, "What? You have a pebble in your shoe or something?"
Do you remember that episode when Ed got punished and his mom took away his stairs?
Oh, he was in jail. Oh my god, his room was jail. That was hilarious. Oh my, yo.
No, Ed was sleepwalking.
Oh yeah, like he like I think he raided
Everybody's
Eddie's fridge. Oh yeah, it was everyone's
The
fridge.
whole cul-de-sac. And then in the morning, everyone was starving, so they just took the food out of.
Oh yeah, you
Ed's
saw them all as
Oh
zombies
my
and like
God.
oh my. Wait, they literally ate food that was inside of him because like the thing is Ed did. Like,
he didn't digest it.
No. He didn't even like he took a whole carton of eggs and ate the eggs, but when you took the carton out, the eggs were fine. He just ate like all the plastic.
Like I said, whoever wrote that show, like brilliant.
So because it was so weird.
I wonder what kind of connect for
was.
acid they had at that time.
Oh,
The episode where they broke the universe.
Oh yeah. Life has many doors, Ed boys.
Yeah, he had like
You know-
3 Eds. Yeah.
Another sort of segue. Like
Rolf.
I looked up like Norway. No one in Norway looks like Rolf.
No, he was just a foreign guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was kind of like a less offensive version of Apu, because like you know what I mean.
Rolf carried that show for sure because like in a lot of ways, Rolf was like the most woke.
The burden of hospitality.
Right. For Rolf. I mean, what was Rolf the same age as those kids?
Yeah.
Like,
No, right. He was like probably like Ed's age.
He was beyond his years.
Yeah,
he
like
was wise beyond his years.
He was kind of like Ed and Rolf. I think were probably the oldest.
Right. And Rolf was like living on a farm, planting his own stuff and taking care of his animals.
I mean, he's probably more disciplined than the rest of them.
Like, he was living a totally different lifestyle than everyone else on that show.
Yo, but like the most underrated character in the show, not underrated, but the most notable character, Plank. He never said a damn thing, but he had so much character.
Remember when the Eds build their own town?
Oh yeah, they built the city.
The kids they built the city.
Yeah, they wanted to take them to the city life, and like, I think about that, like, how, but think about their city, right? It was very like fabricated and very made up. Doesn't that kind of remind you of like what people think New York can be? Like people can see New York as like, you know, all the glitz and glamour of the big city as sort of fabricated. So like those are things I think about whenever you watch those episodes. Yes,
Dumbo is like a created city.
Yes,
for the rich to have their meetings. That's the Eds kind of did that with the cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
they built like a fake city to make money off people. You know what I mean?
And it kind of really, you know, so in a way they gave them an accurate tour of the city, of what city life might be like. It's very like, oh, it's great for a few, at least for me, like in my opinion, like it's great for a little bit, but then after a few, like when I'm in the city, like it's great for a little bit, but then I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get the hell out of here.
I went up to Connecticut last weekend, and I went to a mall just to check out an FYE to get some CDs, and I was walking around.
Nassau County is the CD hub of America probably now. We got Mr. Cheapo's, Looney Tunes, Newberry Comics. Why in the blue hell would you go all the way to Connecticut for an FYE? Well, I mean, I like FYE.
Right.
I think it was great.
FYE wasn't the reason why I went out there.
Oh, okay.
I went out there to get away for the weekend, and I was kind of looking around to see if there were any record stores, and there were a couple, but they closed early, so I ended up going to the mall. And I was walking around after I bought my CD or whatever, and I passed by this like little candy kiosk, and they had a jar full of jawbreakers,
the head-sized jawbreakers,
like literally maybe the size of my fist. Like that's how big the jawbreakers were, and it made me think of Ed and Eddie because, like, if you remember in the show, the jawbreakers they had were
like they were like, bigger than two of their heads, so it was just like
they were just.
Oh my god,
it was hilarious. And they weren't expensive either. Like.
No, 25 cents for a damn jawbreaker.
But they needed to like pull everything out of their ass, like in order to scrounge that kind of money up.
Quarter.
You know? A quarter.
Yeah. No, I remember it was Eddie and Rolf had a duel with fishes. And Ed was allergic to fish, and he turned into
oh my god, yeah, he turned into a fish. He turned into a holy...
I don't feel so good, guys.
Fish face!
Oh my god.
So like, no, but that was crazy. But like, one of the I remember like I remember freaking out my friend Alice like years ago because like I was telling her, hey, have you ever seen? Because she loves Ed and Eddie, and like I remember telling her, have you ever seen the movie? She's like, wait. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, there's like the last episode of the show, the Big Picture show, was a movie, and she was like. And you can find that on YouTube. And like she looked it up. We were sitting and sipped this in a local coffee shop. She looked it up right then and there and watched it. Like that movie was really good because like it was the first time you ever saw Eddie's brother. I remember there was an episode of Ed and Eddie that, you know, where someone pretended to be. Eddie lied that his brother was coming home, so so you can get attention, and like. But that was the Big Picture show. The last episode was the first time you ever saw Eddie's brother. Like, and he turned out to be a huge dick. It's a
good precedent. Yeah. I think a lot of TV shows should take advantage of the movie because, like, you can make a great show, and let's say you're trying to figure out a way to end it. Why not make a movie and make that a
culminate everything? You know? They culminated everything that happened.
That's the one thing that irks me about SpongeBob is because here you have such a classic show. Almost every episode in the first couple of seasons were instant classics, and then you make a movie and it's amazing. And the original writer, like stepped away.
He put everything he had into that movie.
That's a great window to immortalize SpongeBob forever. to end it there. But then, of course, they want to continue it. They want to continue the legacy.
To make money.
To make money, yeah.
He showed so much growth in the movie, and then this new season came out, and he's an idiot again. It's like, okay.
Well, like, it's kind of like the Simpsons. A lot of the original writers left. The original producers left.
They wouldn't
after like maybe like season 12, 11 and 12, they kind of started to lose a lot of the the original writers. But speaking of SpongeBob, let's talk about some of the like Nickelodeon shows, because when we got cable, especially premium cable, there was Nicktoons TV. I think the channel was. I think it's still Nicktoons. So they would have SpongeBob, and they would air reruns of Rocko's Modern Life. Yeah. Kablam!
Oh my
Action
god!
League Now. Yeah. But what I really enjoyed were the shorts that they aired between the shows.
Wait, you remember Doodles? Holy yeah, that show was awesome. Yeah,
amazing.
That show was so weird.
It was hilarious. This little guy, and someone is just. It's kind of like what in Looney Tunes, what Bugs would do to Daffy. He would kind of just like
the episode like that giant hand that kept animating reanimating everything.
Like somebody kept doing that to this little guy in Doodles, and it was just he would just go through all this shit, and it was hilarious because this little guy's reaction, like the facial expressions, how it was animated, just made everything.
He never said anything. It was silent. All you heard was just like
he just make noises.
Yeah, you make a lot of weird noises. Oh my god.
And a spider and fly.
Spider and Fly.
Spider and Fly. Oh, if we're talking about like Nickelodeon, like the great. Speaking of Doodles, the greatest, which I think is my favorite SpongeBob episode ever, Doodle Bob.
Oh boy,
that was horrifying to watch when I first saw that shit, man.
Liked
Finland.
What was that show? Life as a Teenage Robot.
Oh yeah,
that show's awesome.
That show was excellent.
That was really fun.
Really good.
That was a really fun.
Yeah,
show
like if you saw the trailer for the Steven Universe movie, the villain looks like Jenny.
Yeah,
she looks like Jenny, like an evil version of Jenny. It's really cool.
Speaking of robot shows, you know why I'm surprised that they didn't do a crossover episode? Whatever happened to Robot Jones and
Life is a Robot?
Yeah,
that would have been
same
really
idea.
Oh, you would have found
Robot Jones would have fell in love with
no, but you would have had to work his ass off to impress Jenny, because Jenny didn't want no scrubs. But by the end, he would have got, because he's a good guy. Robot Jones, he's a nice guy.
Robot Jones was in love with the girl with a bunch of braces.
And she had a metal leg.
She had really? Oh,
I think she had a prosthetic. She had like a metal leg, I think.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think she had a metal leg or a metal arm.
Danny Phantom was a great animated show.
My God.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's Tucker's an amazing character. Very diverse group of characters.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, like,
and the writing had a lot of range, because they were really funny episodes, and they were really like dark episodes.
The episodes and the characters are very dynamic.
Yeah.
They weren't really stereotypical.
No, not one bit.
Like some of Danny's classmates were
the jock and the popular girl.
Yeah, but other than that, like,
there were no racial stereotypes in that show whatsoever. Everyone was very dynamic. Like, you remember that girl that liked Danny, but she was also like a ghost hunter who was after Danny Phantom?
I don't remember.
Don't you remember? Like, it was
I
like
know Sam liked Danny.
Like his best friend. Yeah, no. There was another girl. Like, she was a black girl. And she was also a ghost hunter. Her alter ego was a ghost hunter.
I gotta rewatch the show.
Yo, it like...
Yeah, there's a lot of shows.
I forgot her name, but those episodes were crazy.
I feel like I want to binge like all these shows that we're talking about, because
you can't now. I mean, you can't now. The
well, there's actually a streaming service called VRV that has a lot of like it's just animation. Yeah, and then there's Crunchyroll for anime.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
I gotta get on that.
And Disney's coming out with their streaming service, so you're gonna have a lot. Hopefully, we'll have the Proud Family. Yeah, you guys remember the Proud Family?
Hell yeah, dude! Like, Jesus Christ,
I watched it again. Amazing.
How many other cartoons you remember that had that many black people in it?
Ooh, man, there's not a lot.
Jesus Christ.
Like Penny Proud is this black girl magic.
Oh my god!
I felt like I was a part of their family.
Yeah,
because it was so dynamic.
Oscar Proud was so great.
I have spoken. Oh man, it was so quotable. But like, oh man,
Sugar Mama was amazing.
Sugar Mama was great. I like the writing in the Proud Family better than a lot of Tyler Perry movies.
Dude.
How would you guys feel if they took some of these shows that we're talking about and made them into like live action movies?
No, like, they don't need to. They're good as cartoons.
Well, I like what they're doing with Rocko's Modern Life now. They're doing a Netflix movie.
A Netflix movie?
For Rocko's Modern Life. And the whole thing is that they've been lost in space for 20 years, and they're trapped here, and they're trying to go back to the 90s.
That's amazing.
I think it's really cool.
That's kinda
really
interesting.
That's
very
actually very.
interesting.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
That's very different. I'm not
Yep.
gonna lie.
I love
And they're
that
doing
show.
Invaders In too.
Invaders In.
Yeah, they're doing a Netflix thing. That should be amazing.
Shit.
I can't wait.
I mean, like, I don't mind like making like okay, they making a Rocco's original movie. Like, what they did, the new Hey Arnold movie they made.
That was awesome.
That was really
That
good.
was so
actually.
good. Oh my god.
That was very good. And
excellent.
oh my god! And but like in terms of rebooting some shows, like they like remaking what was already like already made is just so.
I think these
I'm
are
sick
like,
of
I
it.
don't know if that's like what I said before about Rocco and Invaders Sim. I think they're just like Netflix movies.
Original Netflix
Yeah,
movies.
they're not, I don't
Okay.
think it's like a rebooted.
Oh,
series.
okay, that's
like
fine,
with
that's
the Powerpuff Girls,
Yeah.
dude.
You don't have to do that.
Oh,
Oh, wait, okay. The
Oh,
only thing I liked about that show was the intro.
yeah, Taco Cat did the theme
Taco
song.
Cat, yeah, that was
amazing. Yeah.
I wish they made another Powerpuff Girls movie with that intro.
You know
That
what?
shit
The
was
first
crazy.
couple episodes of the Powerpuff Girls reboot, it was good.
was
But then
okay.
there was some episodes where it was just like, okay, this sucks. This is terrible.
They wrote them to have a sister. Blistina. She's the first ever black Powerpuff Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had blue
Yeah.
hair. I thought that was interesting, but I feel like I wish that character. I feel like that was the right character, but for the wrong era of
They should
Powerpuff
do
Girls.
another movie then. Just do a movie.
Yeah, like that should have been a movie.
And I
Like,
love the first Powerpuff Girls movie.
the first
I thought it was
Powerpuff
great.
Girls movie was incredible.
I love most of the animated shows that when they come out with movies, they're amazing. And it's only when like they start to make this like a gimmick, like the Kim Possible movie that came out.
the live action one. I didn't
It's such a
fucking watch
gimmick because like, why are you gonna take something that was already good, change the media, and expect people to be like, "Oh, this is cool"? Like they're rebooting The Last Airbender into a Netflix series, but a live action. series.
No, man.
like,
What was
people
wrong
like
with
this
the
because it
animated?
was-
yeah.
What was wrong with the animated show?
Nothing. Which is
What was
why
it?
I'm thinking like who's not in the room, or rather who is in the room when these decisions.
I
are
think
being
it's
made.
about who's not in the room.
You know
Yeah,
what? Let's
yeah,
let's
exactly.
turn Rachel Maddow and Anderson Cooper on CNN and MSNBC respectfully into cartoons then.
Fuck
Let's
it.
do
Yeah,
that.
turn
Yeah,
live
fuck it.
action shit
You
into
can go
cartoon.
one way, you can go the
turn
other
the
way.
news into a cartoon then.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Cartoon news. That'd be kind of cool.
Why not?
That'd be
Cartoon
kinda
news.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't know how that would be like.
What do you guys think is the
You
most
wouldn't- no one
underrated
would think-
cartoon?
The most underrated?
Yeah.
Was underrated? Shit.
Huh. That's a good question because a lot of the cartoons that we grew up watching are pretty much
We named a lot of underrated cartoons.
very well in the mainstream.
Well,
But
they're pretty. A lot of stuff we named is pretty well known.
yeah, it is.
Besides, like, Whatever Happened to Robot Jones, Teenage Robot, those are kind of underrated, I think.
Brandy, I have to rewatch it, but Brandy and Mr. Whiskers was alright.
It was a weird show. I don't know if I could. I wasn't able to fully get into it, but it was alright.
It was alright. Yeah. It was
Dave the
okay.
Barbarian was weird.
It
wasn't great.
It wasn't great.
I tried to, but
It's one of those shows that like if nothing else was on, you'd watch, but like
Not really.
you
that's-
wouldn't sit through a marathon of that.
Yeah, it was.
No.
It was another.
Oh,
It's
God.
nothing.
Oh my god.
I already know one, but I want to hear what you guys think.
I'm trying to think.
I think Courage the Cowardly Dog is an underrated show.
Really?
It was
Yeah.
under.
I think it's underrated because even though like a lot of people know about it, I feel like
It was underappreciated.
it was underappreciated because the episodes themselves, if you're not used to watching that kind of show, you probably won't be able to get through it because it's
Or
really,
maybe your parents didn't let you. I know people whose parents didn't let them watch that show.
Yeah.
It was
And
weird.
it's not really like it's not really one of those shows that you see people talking a lot about now. Like the people that were devoted to that show will talk about it, but like you have all these other cartoons that are getting all these attention, all these like extra like movies being made. I don't see that for Courage, you know.
Yeah.
I'd
guess
probably say. Oh no! I can't say the original Teen Titans because that was one of the most appreciated shows. Like
Yeah. There's like
that was crazy.
there's entire forums dedicated to.
Oh my! The original Teen Titans. That's just,
I'm sure there's a Reddit thread right now that's like days long. About Teen Titans.
Wait, like, did you see the trailer for that? Like, the Teen Titans Go versus the original Teen Titans.
Don't even talk
That I didn't even bother watching the. I didn't even bother watching anything about it. But like,
I think but you
another rated show.
Yeah.
To be the first Ben 10.
Ben 10.
The first Ben 10 was really cool. Like, at first, like, because, like, there was a lot of unexpected character development. Like with the grandpa, at first you know, it was like, you know, like their grandpa's taking like Ben and his cousin Gwen. Yeah, Ben and Gwen. Yeah, okay, that's how I remember her name. And like, you know, at first he's just like, you know, their granddad just taking them on the road. And then they found out like a lot of episodes in that this guy, because he always used to tell him, oh, I was a plumber. But then he realized that the plumbers were guys that fought monsters and like these soldiers that fought monsters. And like, it was just a lot of unexpected character development. Like, I thought the show was really cool. Like, every spin-off after it I didn't care about. Right. And it had a pretty good movie, too. That show had a movie. It was a TV movie.
I never really got into Ben 10 because I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, all the other cartoons sucked. But it was a good show. It was a good show.
Cartoon Network in like the late 2000s, like 2006 on, because literally all the shows that I loved were gone.
Yeah,
they were just gone. I'm like, okay, Dexter's.
They all moved to Boomerang.
They put him on Boomerang. I'm like, okay. It was just very you know what I mean? Like, at least in wrestling, like Steve Austin and The Rock kind of gradually went away.
Yeah, they kind of like
on Cartoon Network. Yeah, Cartoon Network. It's like Ed and Eddie was just gone. Courage was gone
because they thought, oh, we need these shows.
Toonami was gone. It was just like, what's going on? But I will say one of the most underrated cartoons ever has to be, without a doubt, The Weekenders.
Oh yeah.
The diverse character lineup, the writing on that show, there was a lot of gems on that.
Yeah, that show was incredible.
Tino's mom was so wise.
A very good character.
These kids were wise beyond their years, and it kind of broke the fourth wall a little bit. Like Tino's aside was very Saved by the Bell like, but Ferris Bueller. But it was so interesting how they did it. It was amazing how he just kind of wrapped up the episode.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, very underrated show.
I have another one
very underrated
that I forgot about. Class of 3000.
Oh my god! Yeah, that show is so. You know the one thing that like threw me off about that show. I loved everything about it, but the animation. The animation is kind of weird, but the thing is, it was such a cool and unique show. I forgave it. You know, I was like, okay, I don't mind the animation looks a little weird, but like
as much as I love Andre 3000 and I've been listening to Outkast a lot more lately. Yeah. But again, I couldn't watch it because again, Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it was very jarring.
Right? It was Nickelodeon.
No, it was Cartoon Network.
Yeah, okay, again, like it just left a bad taste in my mouth because literally all the shows that I loved were just gone. They just went away. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's like the network was saying, we have good news and we have bad news.
We're deleting everything. Everything's gone.
Everything you love, all your favorite shows, they're gone. But we got some new stuff. Check it out.
But with Class of 3000, like I still can sing the theme song in my head. And the thing, there was an episode of the show that really, this episode was what really like, you know, made me realize how cool the show was. There was an episode because like these kids go to a music school, or they're in a music department in their school, and like I think their music department, I gotta watch the episode again, but I think their music department was in jeopardy of getting cut. So all the kids sat and there was like this whole musical like montage like of them contemplating life without music. And it was really like sad and kind of dim because it made me think, man, life without music would freaking suck. Yeah. Especially when you're kids who love music.
How long did that show last?
Why do I feel like it didn't last that long?
It didn't last that long.
I feel like it got a couple of seasons.
If it was allowed to grow a little more, it really would have became something special. Because like there weren't a lot of shows like that.
They had these little mini games on the Cartoon Network website. Yep. And the Class of 3000 mini game.
I played the Majin Partners and Monkey one. It was a cool platformer that they had. But the
Class of 3000 game was my first experience like arranging music.
Yeah, I made a lot of beats on that. There
was a lot of things you can do. Like each character had their own instrument, and then you just sort of like took little samples of each character, each musician, and you could create a song out of it, and it was kind of really cool to play.
And the thing is, like, it was also like people watching that show was probably like a lot of those kids. It was their first time hearing about Andre 3000, so you might look up Andre 3000, you might find, oh, Outkast, who are these guys? Yeah. And like that's how I found out about Outkast. I'm like, holy crap, this Andre 3000 guy is amazing, and he's important. He's really important.
The one show I think from Cartoon Network that's truly important It's Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, Dexter's
Yes.
Lab. He's
Yeah.
like the
I was
mastermind.
obsessed.
He's like the Tony Stark of the, you know, he's like the smartest. He's like, he has like a
Too smart for his own good.
yeah,
He's
very,
too
lot,
smart.
really
Yeah.
too smart for his own good.
But he's still a kid, you know.
And
like,
he's a bit of a playboy sometimes. Like, you know, like there are episodes where like he can be very suave.
The
Like,
idea
you
of
see
having
that.
a lab in his bedroom, I was like, I want that. How do I make that happen?
I tried.
Dexter's laboratory.
It didn't work for me.
My closet's too small. Yeah.
I cleared out the closet. I started making things, quote unquote, with like cardboard, and I'm like, yo, how does Dexter do this?
And, like, even though Dee Dee
yeah,
was
little
so-
inventions too. It was good.
Even though his sister Dee Dee was like sometimes made to look stupid, there were times where you see that she's smarter than him in different ways.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, she probably knows how to talk to people better, or she probably sees things that he doesn't. Like
Well,
Dexter
she's
gets
his
in
She's
his,
more street smart.
yes,
Yeah.
Dexter gets in his own head a lot. Dee Dee is like very like a little more practical, a little more simple. But you know, sometimes you need a little more simplicity, and she taught Dexter that sometimes.
You know a show that was really, really good that's also very underrated? That's Told by Ginger.
Oh
Yes.
my god,
I watched the first episode yesterday. I'm like, wow.
I
this
feel
is
bad for
great.
hating that show because that show I used to hate that show as a kid. I don't know why, but now rewatching, I'm like, this show's so awesome.
I will
What the
never
hell's wrong
ever
with it?
forget the theme song of that show. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, man.
always in my head. Always.
Yeah, that show is so good. It
Till
kind
further notice.
yeah, like it was like animated. It was like animated a lot like the Wild Thornberrys.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, like a little, like it looked kind of like you know the characters look a little like they had like small eyes and like you know their mouths were drawn a certain way, like their mouths were on their chins. Like it was the show had a very unique animation style.
Yeah.
Oh, freaking Codename Kids Next Door.
Yeah, that was a good show.
That was another show. Kind of reminded me of
was a
Jimmy
good
Neutron. The characters like had giant heads and like you know big hands.
The character relationships that they had
Oh,
were
man.
like two characters could meet on screen and they could have a conversation and you realize, wow, these guys have a lot of history with each other, you know. And it was like this whole universe that existed like in these kids' lives, you know, and it was very believable.
Like,
even though
very,
it was
like-
very like outlandish.
Like the movies, like the specials of that show were crazy. Like there was a special where like they were in the future, and number 4 is like this old veteran. Like they live in a future where adults won. They won the war, and like there's like this dystopian society, like this dictatorship, and number 4 is like this old veteran, and like the younger generation has to take over. Cause like I think there was an episode like he didn't want to go to school or something. Or I don't remember exactly, but like a lot of those episodes were like there are a lot of gems in that show. It got really dark in very hilarious ways.
Yeah,
like
that
it's hard to
was,
explain. Like
Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yes.
yo, it's funny how
How did
you
that show
mentioned.
even get on TV? That's
a
what
good
I'm.
question.
That's what I'm saying.
They would have that show in the middle of the day. I didn't understand that.
Oh no, it was really funny how you mentioned that. It's so sad how I know all this. Do you remember the crossover episode between Kids Next Door and Billy and Mandy?
Nope.
It was the weirdest thing I ever seen in my life. I think it was either the last episode of Billy and Mandy and the last episode of Kids Next Door in one, where like they joined together for some reason. But all I know is at the end, Mandy won and took over the Kids Next Door.
Wow.
Makes
I'm
sense.
not. No. I am
Makes
not
sense.
making this up. It was the funniest and weirdest thing I ever saw in my life. It was the weirdest crossover ever. Like, and no one talked about that.
It makes sense though.
Billy was
Yeah.
friends with a spider, a demonic spider.
No. No,
Yes.
No,
the
I'm just
spider
saying,
was
in
his
general.
son.
Oh, that's
The
right.
spider, he crapped on a spider egg, and then it was his son. Billy was a very not thinking Billy was a very abusive father. He didn't want his son, so he beat the crap out of him a lot. It was real. It's funny watching it, but then like when you think about it, it's like damn, he was a bad father.
Think about the premise of that show. The Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper
Lost a bet.
to a bunch of kids.
Yep. And had to become their friend.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Absolutely fucking brilliant.
Oh
What a
my
great show.
god! And like the boogeyman was a big was a punk. He was a punk. Remember? Like he was like because like he wanted to be scary, but everyone was just like he was like the Dane Cook of like evil people. No one took him seriously.
Okay.
Nobody.
Yeah, let's go back in time for a sec. I remember, watching Cartoon Network early on. It would have like before Adult Swim even. They would have a lot of blocks of older cartoons. Like they would have, let's say, like the Flintstones, They would have lots and lots of Looney Tunes, lots and lots of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, all of them. Tom and Jerry. What else? What else did they have? I said the Flintstones already.
Yeah.
Jetsons. I thought that was really cool because they would introduce you to. I mean, I think Time Warner owned those. Anyway.
Yeah, they were both like shows about families, but like it was kind of weird. Like there was also
they showed you like the OG cartoons,
Yeah.
and they showed the newer wave, like Ed and Eddie, Dexter's Laboratory, etc., which I thought was amazing. They should do that again. They should like that's what Boomerang is for. And I always thought Boomerang was fascinating when they started Boomerang, because then like again I love the shorts in between the cartoons.
Yeah,
they would have Josie and the Pussycats and stuff like that. I thought, and one thing that confused me about Boomerang, they would say it's all coming back to you, right? I think that was the tag.
Yeah, it was all coming back to you. Now.
I was thinking of like they were getting ready to reveal something, but it was really just. They're just showing you the older cartoons.
Yeah, it was like like a Hall of Fame like.
It was a Hall of Fame type of thing. Yeah.
Like, do you remember? Like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy how like I remember all these weird crossovers. Do you remember how like there was a crossover where the Jetsons and the Flintstones switched places?
Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
It was okay.
Yeah, that was very. Yeah. It was very interesting.
It got me thinking, like, when they started doing crossovers for stuff, It made me think, do people purposely create cartoons that are in the same universe to sort of leave a door open for a collaboration? Or is that just something that's like, oh, like, your show's cool, let's do one together?
It's a beautiful, and they're both very similar to, it's kind of like a beautiful accident in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Jimmy Neutron and Fairly Odd Parents crossover, which is kind of really interesting to see.
Yeah.
The weird thing about that crossover is, like, when like they switched places, I thought that the Jimmy Neutron characters looked better in the Fairly Odd Parents animation and vice versa. Like it was kind of weird. Like when you brought the Fairly Odd Parents characters in the 3D world, they kind of looked like like they kind of look more natural in that world. I always, and like how Jimmy and Timmy were competing, like for I think what the hell's her name, Cindy, the blonde girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were competing for her in a way, but like Timmy didn't have to try.
Yeah.
Like it was, that was a very interesting crossover.
I loved Jimmy Neutron. I loved the movie when it came out. It was very, very cool. I think Jimmy was, again, another one of these characters that are just too smart for their own good.
Yeah, got it in his own way a lot.
Yeah, I think Goddard is a great pet to have.
Oh man, Goddard.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Really, yeah, that was awesome.
That was great.
And Sydney was not as smart as Jimmy.
But she was the second smartest. She was just as smart as him.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, she didn't have a freaking. She was like more of a normal, I guess, more of a quote unquote normal kid. Like if she had his lab, she'd be just like him. Like if she had his technology, like she's just as smart as the guy. Like like when situations got dire, like she was like very like she stepped up. Like she was a good hand. Like like no offense.
I always thought that those shows were so they were so wholesome in the fact that like you could learn almost anything from the show.
Yeah.
Like there was elements of anything from like your typical like school curriculum. They talked about science, math, history, like music. Music was a huge part of those shows, especially like the Fairly Odd Parents, like Chip Skylark, some of the greatest hits.
The whole intro is super jazzy.
Yes,
it's super jazzy.
I learned a lot of words from cartoon, from Dexter and from SpongeBob. I learned the word enigma. From
Impossible, because like every freaking villain in every cartoon would say it.
Yeah,
they had great vocabulary.
Oh my god!
Any other shows that
very underrated?
Yeah, that you thought were interesting. That
I'm gonna remember so many like later. I can guarantee you, because I'm like, god damn! Oh man,
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack was a good one. That was a really interesting one.
You can tell the art played a big part of that whole show. Like the art, everything that was drawn was very meticulous because you had to get the sense that Jack was not in his home territory. He was someplace completely different. And it was really interesting to watch. It was
the whole thing. He tried to go back to the past.
Yeah.
Did you watch when it came back to Toonami?
Yeah, it was good.
That shit was really crazy. You know, because like it was the first time where Samurai Jack actually brought the violence. Like it was extremely violent. Like I didn't expect it because like they brought it back to Adult Swim. The original was on Toonami, but they brought the new version back to Adult Swim. So it was like the same show, but except it was just. It was like extremely violent, like so that I didn't expect at all when it came back, but it was still amazing.
What about Adult Swim? I remember when it first launched. It was
Whole
September.
movies.
It was my birthday, 2001. I was 8 years old. It was home movies.
Oh my God,
There
this
was
weird.
Cowboy Bebop,
I love that show.
which I didn't understand. I didn't get. I did not understand a
Me
word
neither.
of Cowboy Bebop. I just know it was sad, but I didn't get it.
You remember Trigun?
Nope.
No.
Trigun is so awesome. Yo, you can watch it on YouTube right now. That show is so awesome.
It was Space Ghost.
Space.
that
I was gonna ask you
2020?
about Space Coast to Coast. What the hell happened? What the hell happened in that show?
I don't know.
It was like a weird like talk show, but
Yeah.
like
it
was the. I feel like shows like home movies and like Space Coast to Coast really opened the door for shows like Rick and Morty.
And shows like the Eric Andre show. It's kinda
Oh,
like
yeah.
that,
yeah, like
Well, that's the thing, and I can say this as an insomniac who's always waking up in the middle of the night. Adult Swim is always there to just like, if I was up in the middle of the night and had nothing to do, couldn't go back to sleep, I just watched shows. You know,
like it wasn't
I've
too
seen
bright, so
Hunger
no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Those shows were all similar in the fact that if it wasn't an anime that was too violent for regular like programming, like Inuyasha, like all the other not Toonami, all the other Adult Swim shows, they didn't really have a premise. It was kind of just like, okay, like you got these weird looking characters and they're having like a conversation and some crazy thing happens. Like, what was that Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Aqua Teen.
What,
Oh my.
what was the premise of that show?
Nothing.
Like,
There was no point.
No,
It was
that
so
show,
weird.
Yo,
I
that,
loved it.
that show is a classic. That show is a definitive
was.
freaking
You have
classic.
fries, you have
Holy
shake, and you have a
crap.
meatball.
Yeah, they're all just
It was
chilling.
weird,
Oh my
but I
God.
loved it.
Shout out to my friend. Vanessa Westby. She's a fashion major. She like sewed her own. She sewed a sweater with Frylock's face on it.
That's
She
kinda
sewed
cool.
it herself.
That's really cool.
And like she made a meat wad. She sewed from hand a meat wad bag. She showed me pictures. It's like the coolest thing. Like I've but like the fact that shows like that are still prevalent like that. Like now you go to Comic-Con, you see how people like dress up as these characters. It's pretty amazing.
It is.
What's interesting is that a small block on a network has some of the most like iconic shows, like the Boondocks, for example. That show changed a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've never seen like hip hop being used in a cartoon like that.
You heard MF Doom in a cartoon.
Yeah, it was MF Doom.
You heard Mad Villain
Yeah.
on Adult Swim during commercials.
Yeah. Flying
Holy-
Lotus would do the bumper music.
Yeah.
What else? They would have, Lil Wayne was on it. Name a rapper and they were a part of the Boondocks.
Ghostface Killer.
Busta Rhymes.
Wait, do you remember the episode where Stick Meter came back and he took over Thomas Dubois' body?
Yeah.
And like you remember when Ghostface Killer would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Huey? Like that shit was so funny, man. Like
Yeah.
oh man. I never
Magnificent. Booty butt cheeks. Booty
Yeah.
butt
Well,
cheeks.
it's like we were saying. There aren't a lot of cartoons, especially when we were growing up, that just had like black people.
Yeah.
You know, it was like not a lot, but the ones that were there were amazing.
Do
you
the
know?
homemade. Dude, Gangsta-licious. He was amazing.
Gangsta-licious.
what-
Do the homemade.
Oh,
Do the
man.
homemade.
No, like with Gangsta-licious, like rewatching that, it really shows like the
Homophobia in hip hop.
Yeah, it was-
yeah,
it was
and
very
homophobia
progressive.
in like the black community in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
my god, like the shows like it really like it highlighted the most beautiful and the most like twisted things about the black community. How like our self-hatred. Like Uncle Ruckus is an epitome of self-hatred.
Brilliant character.
He's hilarious,
Brilliant
but like
character. Yes.
damn, like he really is like, and like Thomas Dubois is like a sort of like the epitome of like ignorance, and like how like Granddad was the epitome of a man who does have his head on his shoulders, but he's kind of like, I'm too tired to deal with bullshit, which I respect to an extent. Like but like sometimes it kind of does get in his own way, and even a lot of the characters, like their great qualities were also balanced by like their like not so great qualities. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. MTV, I think, produced one of the best cartoons of all time, and that's Daria.
Oh man,
Like 5 seasons, but brilliant writing, brilliant characters.
gut wrenching scenes.
Yes.
Like especially like towards the end of the series, like oh my god, it's like there are like episodes where like oh man, I know what's coming, and like it hits just as hard every time.
Yeah.
Like,
it touches on like lack of diversity, especially at Lawndale. With Jody and Mac. It was very interesting. It talked about like influencer culture with Val. Just a girl who's famous for just just being famous, I guess, which is the equivalent of like an IG influencer.
Or like a
social
public figure.
Or whatever. Whatever. But yeah, like I think Daria really touched upon a lot of interesting ideas about like corporations and stuff like that. With the member of Phys Ed, with that cola company that was branding all around the school. It
looked like a parody of Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Great show.
The show was incredible. Another show that ended that had two awesome movies. Like is it fall yet and is it college yet?
Yeah.
Is it fall yet, man? Like
Daria's a must watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other shows?
Oh snap!
I think I named them.
Well, if we're talking about Daria, Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yeah.
How the hell have we not talked about Beavis and Butthead yet? Oh my god.
Well, Beavis and Butthead, like they exist in the same universe.
That's the water.
Right? They exist in the same universe, Beavis and Butthead and Daria.
Yep. Yeah, Daria moved away from the town that...
Yeah, she was like... that's where she first premiered. Like, you would just see her walking down the street and she would just comment on, like... And she would, like, make fun of them or, like, ask them what the hell you guys are doing.
Yeah. That was a show... When I watched Beavis and Butthead, I was just like... What is going on in this show? Like, it was sort of like a Harold and Kumar kind of thing.
They're like really, really high all the time, right?
They just watched music videos and they commented on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was like a Let's Play before there was Let's Plays. Yep. Like, that's how I discovered No Doubt. They were watching a No Doubt video. Yeah.
Yeah. The show was crazy. I think it to an extent, like, obviously everyone loved it. To an extent, by certain people, it was underappreciated. Like, it definitely went over some people's heads. Like, at first it went over my head. I was like, this looks stupid. Because, like, when I first saw the show, like, they look ugly. And then I'm like, wait a minute, it's a freaking cartoon. And when I started to actually watch it, I loved it.
Cartoons are the best form of TV.
Honestly.
Yeah.
For sure.
Really. I think it's like...
Comic books brought to life.
Like, pro wrestling, there's that, and then there's cartoons. Like, there's The Simpsons, Daria, SpongeBob. That's the best television to me.
Yeah, some of like my favorite movies are cartoon movies.
Yeah. That's the moral of the story.
Oh man.
Alright, level 33, My Little Underground. It's Peter A, Smiley, Richie Arriaga here. Plug your socials, your music, whatever you got.
RichardArriaga.bandcamp.com. You can listen to all my albums and enjoy yourself. Thanks for listening.
Smiley Arriaga on Instagram. That's Smiley Arriaga for those who cannot spell our last name. I have the Mad Cow EP on Spotify, iTunes, that's still a thing, Apple Music, and Tidal.
Don't forget to watch all the cartoons we mentioned on this here podcast on level 33 of My Little Underground, especially Simpsons, Daria, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Ed and Eddie. All great shows. Proud Family, Boondocks. Everything we mentioned today, go watch that. And subscribe to My Little Underground, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio.com, iHeartRadio, anywhere you get podcasts, including PeterARadio.com, and on YouTube, My Little Underground. Just search that up. It's right all there for you. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's Peter_A. And follow the show as well at MLU Pod, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All right? Later days.